Guys, please confirm to me. All of you get my voice on the screen. Those who are attending in online. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you get my voice on the screen. Those who are attending in online. Is my voice is clear to all of you guys? Yes. All right. Good morning, guys. Fans. All right, sir. And check it what we completed in the last session. Just we completed an introduction part for Java programming language. That means Java programming language in the sense Java history part we completed in the last session. As you know already, observe carefully what exactly the content here we are having there. Introduction part we started. In introduction part, very first topic is like what now? Java history, and second topic will be differences between Java and others. Others in the sense here I'm thinking about C and C++. Okay. Next one is after that. Third one is Java features. Then fourth one is Java naming conventions. And fifth one is Java programming format. So these are the 5 topics which are existed inside core Java. That means inside introduction part. Okay. Then part of this introduction part, we started already Java history. And yesterday we completed the Java history. Guys, now just I'm going to ask some questions to you. Try to answer for it. So when the first version of Java was introduced to the market, 1996 January 23rd. But when the work was started for preparing Java programming language, 1991. Nearly 25 members are formed as a team led by James Gosling and Patrick Nathan, and they started a separate project to prepare this programming language. The name of that project is what? Green Project. Part of the Green Project, 25 members were gathered, and 25 members team, they started preparing this new programming language. But what qualities they want to see on the new programming language? Actually, 3 qualities they want to see mainly on the new programming language. What are the 3 qualities they want to see there? First one is what? Simple programming language. Second one is tight coded, and third one is what? Architectural neutral programming language. What is the meaning of simple programming language? The programming language should take less execution time, less memory, and less power. And what is the meaning of this tight coded? Less number of finish sections and more implementation, more results. Less number of finish sections and more results. There's a tagline for the tight coded programming language. Then what is the meaning of architectural neutral programming language? No, it should be independent of the hardware systems. In every hardware system, it has to execute its applications. In every hardware system, it has to execute its applications. So this is what like that, independent of the hardware architecture. So then after that, at the end of the 1992, they completed this new programming language. They have given name for this new programming language is what? Java. How they gave name for this new programming language is Java because of one reason. What is that reason here? Java is a coffee. Java is a coffee name which is available at Sun Microsystems cafeteria. So by the time of preparing this new programming language, the Sun Green Project engineers, Green Project people, they used to take that coffee. So they thought of it, they want to give that name to the programming language. So finally they are given name to the programming language is what? Java. But previously, before that, one more option, one more opinion was provided by James Gosling to the Sun Microsystems about the name of this particular programming language. What was that initial opinion of this programming language there? Oak, O-A-K, Oak. Oak is a name. But Sun Microsystems was rejected that. Why? Because Oak is already a programming language which has already existed with the same name. So we should not give same name to the new programming language. Finally, they give a name for this new programming language is what? Java. Java has given as a name for the new programming language. That's okay, fine. Then after that, then Sun Microsystems has prepared the very first product on Java. That is a Star 7, is an intelligent remote controller. Unfortunately, no customer is identified for this particular product up to 1.5 years of time. Up to the like what their mid of 1994, they didn't identify even a single customer for this particular one. Then finally, then what they decided there, by the time of 1994, by the time of mid of 1994, there is a boom for browsers part of the www. So Sun Microsystems decided to prepare their own browser. What was that browser they prepared there? Hard Java browser they prepared. By the end of 1995, they prepared browser that was taken care by, that was taken by, taken the responsibility taken by like Jonathan Payne and Patrick Nathan. They are the two members. So finally, they prepared a browser. The name of the two browser is what? Hard Java browser. Hard Java browser is a successful product in outside market. Everybody is talking about Hard Java browser. Not only that, they thought internally which technology was there inside this Hard Java browser. Then by the time they came to know, Sun Microsystems had a new programming language that is Java. On the base of Java only, that Hard Java browser was prepared. So because of that reason only, Java is getting somewhat demand in outside market. Finally, as per the number of requests coming from number of customers, Sun Microsystems decided to release Java programming language as versions wise in outside market. Further, they set the date, right, 1996 January 23rd, they set the date and they released the first version of the Java to the market with the name JDK 1.0. From that point onwards, now till the date, JDK 1.18 version is existed, Java 1.18 version is existed. So during this total, right from 1.0 to 1.18 versions, which versions are the major versions and which versions are the lower versions? If you have to this, 1.2 version is a major version, next 1.5 is the next major version, 1.8 is the next major version, 1.11 is the next major version. Then apart from that, all the versions are somewhat unstable, but these versions are mainly used in the software industry. At present, which version of Java is used in software industry is what there? 1.8 to 1.9, little bit to 1.10 or 1.11, but entire software industry is not migrated up to 1.18 version. Observe carefully. So these points we understood clearly in the last session. Am I right? Right, guys. Now let's move on to the next topic today. That would be differences between Java and others. The second topic in introduction part is differences between Java and others. Here others in the sense C and C++. C and C++. Guys, observe carefully. Others in the sense what? C and C++. Differences between Java and others. If you require the comparison between Java and Python, I will take a separate session, not now. I'll take a separate session for differentiating Java and Python. But as of now, Java, C, C++ comparison, we are going to understand. All right, sir. Now, I will give one clarity before starting this particular topic. Why I'm taking this topic in introduction actually? Why I included this particular topic inside the introduction part? We have some reasons. Reason number one, some of you are having some thought in their mind. If you want to learn Java, you have to learn C++ first. If you want to learn C++, first we have to learn C. So this kind of chain they're having in their mind about this learning process. So here itself, I'm confirming to all of you guys, to learn Java, we don't require any prerequisites. If you know how to start computer, that is sufficient to learn core Java. We don't have any prerequisite. No need to understand anything before Java programming language. Core Java is an entry-level programming language only. In which way we thought a C programming language is an entry-level programming language. In the same way, we can understand core Java is also an entry-level programming language. Observe carefully. Core Java provided by one vendor. C++ provided by another vendor. Java provided by one vendor. Python provided by another vendor. Student is available in a junction. So what path he has to take now? Right. Core Java, C++, and C and Python all are same level concepts. I'm not talking about demand. I'm talking about like what no same level, same entry level programming languages only. If you want to start your career in the software industry, we can take either of these entry level programming language. We don't have any special priority for core Java. We don't have any special priority for C programming language. All are entry level programming languages only. All will cover fundamentals only. So we can select any programming language. But as you are having demand in programming, Java programming language in outside, so definitely we are going to take path for what? Java. So if you want to see your career in Java, there we have to start with the core Java. Why? Because core Java will cover fundamentals of the programming language. So what you are thinking, what you are expecting from C programming language, same thing is expected, same thing is available inside like what there? Core Java. So finally, what I am telling to you, to learn Java, don't make any prerequisite. Not required to go for any prerequisite. Just with a cool mind, come to the classes, you'll understand everything about to learn the Java programming language. Yes, all of you are getting clarity on this point. So now onwards, you have to think in this way only. No prerequisite is required to learn core Java. Okay, fine. Next up, to specify this particular point, I've taken the point is, I've taken the concept is like what? Differences between Java and others. That means I want to say Java is completely different from C, C++. Java is not dependent on C, C++. Java is completely far away from C and C++. So even if you learn C and C++, again we have to learn core Java as a fresh language. So not required to go for C and C++, directly we can come for Java, core Java. That is the point here I'm trying to say. That is one point. Second reason is what? Second point is what? Guys, all of you observe carefully. Second point is what? For example, in your academics maybe, in our campus placements maybe, or maybe in outside if you want to go for any walk-in, any drive in outside, any company drive in outside, then we have to prepare resume or not? There we have to prepare our resume. Then we have to give that resume to that interviewer. In general, in the resume, there is an option like a skill set. Skill set is we have to specify or not. In which languages you are strong, which languages you know, that skill set we have to specify or not. In general, what freshers are used to do, they used to specify the languages names, the technologies names like what? C, C++, Core Java, Advanced Java, Hibernate, Spring, Web Services, .NET, Python, whatever the names of the programming languages that person know. Names only, not complete content. That names they used to specify in their resume. In general, this is a temptation at our academics. If any company is coming there, then immediately we are thinking, if we are having only less number of programming languages when compared with others, they might be give less priority for us. We might be thought like that. We may think like that in our academics. That's why we used to say all the content here. But I'm telling to you clearly, guys, here itself we have to remember, once if we specify something in our resume, that is an information to the interviewer. I am very strong in this particular area. You can ask questions on this particular area. If you specify something in your resume, that is an information, direct information to that interviewer. I am very good in this particular programming language, so you can check my knowledge in this particular area. That information you are giving to that interviewer. So what we have to do, if you know really the programming language, if you know the really the content of that particular programming language, then only you have to specify that programming language name in the resume. Otherwise, don't specify that names. For example, you know only core Java. Don't feel shy. Just specify only core Java. Don't specify advanced Java and all. If you specify advanced Java, then interviewer is having rights to ask questions on advanced Java. If you specify Spring Framework, interviewer will have rights to ask questions on Spring Framework. There, if you are unable to answer for the questions, that interviewer will get bad impression about you. So because of that reason, what you know really, specify up to that in our resume. Don't make up your resume. Don't show up anything in our resume unnecessarily. That's the point here. We have to remember. Okay, fine. Even if we specify C, C++, core Java, Java or Python or something else, no, then there is a chance for interviewer to ask one question. Then we can expect one question from that interviewer. What is that expectation? What is the question we are expecting from interviewer? That question would be, already we have C and C++. Then what is the requirement to go for Java? Indirectly, tell me the differences between C, C++, and Java. Why we need to go for Java over C and C++? There is a chance to ask this particular question. There we have to give answer for this question or not. By the time we have to open our mouth, at least we have to talk about this particular content, particular question. At least we have to speak out some few differences between Java and others. Moreover, it's an ethic for us to understand why Java is good when compared with C and C++ before going to start our programming language. That comparison is always required. See, for example, you want to take a mobile phone. You want to take a new mobile phone. Then what groundwork we are doing, sir, in general? Directly we'll go to the mobile shop and directly we are asking to that mobile shop representative, I need this particular mobile phone. Now, first of all, you will do some groundwork or not. Say, for example, so 25,000 rupees we want to put for that mobile phone, then definitely you will inquire about that mobile phones or not. 3 to 4 mobile phones you will identify, then we will compare these 3 to 4 mobile phones or not. After comparison, we will identify the optimistic mobile phone or not, the suitable mobile phone or not. Definitely, we need to have some comparisons. Similarly, here also, before going to learn a Java programming language, we need some comparison between Java and other programming languages. Here, examples, what are the other programming languages? Here, I need to take no C and C++. So, anyway, my point is what? If anybody else is asking to you, tell me something about Java. How Java is good when compared with C and C++. If these questions are coming, there you have to open your mouth. There we have to give answers clearly for this particular one. For that purpose, I have taken this particular topic today. Now, nearly 9 number of differences I planned, 9 number of examples, 9 number of differences I prepared for this particular discussion here. I will discuss that 9 number of differences. I'm sure about it. You will enjoy a lot by seeing all the 9 number of differences. Important topics, important interview questions also I'm going to be covered inside this particular differences here. So we have to understand it clearly. Right, so now let's start that first one. The very first difference. Very first difference is like what there. C and C++ are static programming languages. C and C++ are static programming languages, but Java is a dynamic programming language. But Java is a dynamic programming language. Java is a dynamic programming language. It's not the question, just it is an information. The difference here I'm telling there. C and C++ are static programming languages, but Java is a dynamic programming language. Right, guys, observe carefully. C and C++ are static programming languages, but Java is what? A dynamic programming language. Now, I'll give the information to you. Try to understand it clearly. Before understanding whether C and C++ and Java are static or dynamic programming languages, before understanding this particular point, first of all, we need to understand when a programming language is static and when a programming language is dynamic. First of all, what is this static and what is this dynamic? We need to understand these points. Then after that, you'll understand, we will conclude C and C++ are static programming languages and Java is what? A dynamic programming language. Let us conclude this particular point first of all. But if you want to understand static programming language and dynamic programming language, first we have to understand what is static and what is dynamic. Let's guys observe carefully. All of you observe carefully. I'll give one small diagram to everybody. Try to understand this diagram now. Everybody has to understand it. For example, for example, for example, this is my C program. This is my what? C program. Whenever I'm saying it is a C program, then its extension should be .c or not. In general, if you want to prepare any C program, file name .c. If you want to write any C++ program, file name .cpp. If you want to say any Java program, file name .java. If you want to say any Python program, file name .py, py. Am I right or not? All right. Now this is C program. Okay. Wait 1 minute. This is a C program. Right, sir. Up to now it's okay. This is C program .c file. Now, what is the requirement to write the C program to execute the C program or not? We need to execute the C program, then we have to get output. Am I right or not? See, why we are writing program there? If we execute that program, we will get some results. For the sake of getting some results only, we have written the C program. Am I right or not? That's okay, fine. Observe carefully. Now I need to execute this program. But who will execute this program actually? Guys, observe carefully. If you want to execute any program, definitely one engine is required or not? One machine is required or not? Similarly, what I'm telling to you, to run C programs, here we require C engine. What we require there to run C programs? No, we need C engine. What we require, guys? Now tell me a mission we are going to use to run a C programs. That mission is what? C engine. Similarly, to run a C++ programs, we need a separate mission, that is a C++ engine. Similarly, to run a Java programs, we need a separate mission. That mission is what? Java engine. The Java engine is also be called as JVM. Java engine is also be called as what? JVM. What is this JVM? Java Virtual Mission. To run a Java programs, we need a separate mission. That is what? JVM, Java Virtual Mission. Similarly, to run Python programs, to run Python applications, there also we required a separate mission. There also we required a separate mission. That mission is called as PVM. PVM. What is this PVM? Python Virtual Mission. Python Virtual Mission. Java Virtual Mission JVM. PVM. Python Virtual Mission. So similarly, to run a C program, we required C engine or not? That's okay, fine. Then here, what I'm telling to you, observe carefully. Whatever the C program we have written, that C program we must give to C engine, where C engine will execute that program, must execute that program, and the C engine has to generate some outputs. That C engine has to generate some outputs. Which output it has to generate there? Observe carefully. This will be an output. Some output. Whatever the program we have written, as per the program implementation only, output will be generated. Guys, observe carefully. First up, I have written a C program. Then I given that C program to the C engine. C engine will execute my program, and the C engine will give some output. This is a scenario what we are thinking. But there is a problem with this particular approach. There is a problem with this particular approach. What is that problem, guys? Observe carefully. We have written our C program in a developer understandable representation or not? Guys, observe carefully. We wrote that C program in our understandable language or not? C language only, but in our understandable representation, that program was written or not? Observe carefully. Say, for example, here I'm telling to you, into A is equal to 10 I have taken. This is my understandable representation of integer variable declaration. Int means that integer, that developer can understand. I or A is a variable name, is equal to is an operator, 10 is a constant value, semicolon is a terminator. The developer can understand that language. So this developer understandable language is nothing but high level language. The developer understandable language is what? No, high level language. C programming language only. High level programming language. High level language where developers can understand everything. As per that only, developers can write the program. Okay. This program was written by developer in a high level representation, in a developer understandable representation. Developer has written the program in a developer understandable representation. Okay, fine. Developer has written the program in its own language, but who has to execute that program? Who will execute that program? Guys, now tell me, who will execute that program? Now tell me, C engine has to execute that program or not? Okay. C engine is able to understand the program is in low level representation. Understand my point? Low level C engine is able to understand the program in low level representation. Low level program is required for C engine. What's the meaning of low level representation? Into A is equal to 10 semicolon is a high level representation. Then its low level representation might be it's a combination of zeros and ones only. It's a combination of zeros and ones only. Executable code, native code. That would be understandable by C engine. C engine can execute only this particular part. C engine can execute only this particular part. Am I right or not? Okay. Now observe carefully. Developers have written the program in a high level representation. C engine is required the program in a low level representation. So developer has written the program in a high level representation, but the C engine required the program in a low level representation. So some misformats are coming or not? Incompatibility is coming or not? Understand my point? Okay. For example, if I give high level program to C engine directly, if I give high level program to C engine directly, then how C engine is able to execute that program? Is it possible for C engine to execute that high level program as it requires the program in low level? As it able to understand the program in low level, how it able to understand, how it able to execute high level program directly? Is it possible for C engine? Come on guys, you have to answer for me. Say for example, two persons are standing there. One person is a Tamil person and other person is a Marathi person. Totally, they came from villages. They don't know other languages. They knows about their mother tongue only. Tamil person able to speak in Tamil only. Marathi person able to speak in Marathi only. Observe carefully. But both are standing each other. Both are standing opposite. Both are standing each other. Both of them wants to have some conversation. Is it possible to provide conversation between both of them? Are they able to communicate directly? No. If a Tamil person is speaking in Tamil, Marathi person is unable to understand it. Marathi person is speaking in Marathi, but Tamil person is unable to understand it. Is it possible? The same scenario is available here also. Developer has written the program in a high level representation, but C engine required the program in a low level. If we provide high level program to the C engine, it will not execute that program. As C engine required low level representation, it will not execute that program. Got my point or not? So here incompatibility is coming. But if you want to execute this program, where we have to convert our program from high level representation to low level representation or not? Guys, you have to answer for my question. If you want to execute this program, there we need to convert our program from high level representation to low level representation or not? So definitely we require one converter or not? One converter we require to convert the program from high level to low level or not? So because of that reason, here I am going to take a converter. Instead of saying converter, I want to say a translator. Instead of saying a converter, I want to say it is what now? A translator. What is the job of this translator? This a translator translates our program from high level representation to a low level representation. The program will be translated from high level representation to low level representation. In the case of C programming language, the total low level represented code, the total converted code will be provided in the form of .obj files maybe or .exe files. Don't think too much about obj or exe, leave it. Finally, I record .exe file. That's fine. Finally, I record what? .exe file. Don't mind about this obj or .exe at present. Both are same. Think of it. They might be have some differences not required at present. All right, guys. Now we need a translator to translate our program from high-level representation to low-level representation. This low-level representation is provided in case of C programming language. That low-level representation will be provided in the form of like what there in the form of a separate file. That file would be like what no .exe file. That file would be like what there .exe file. Observe carefully. Okay, fine. Whenever we are getting this low-level code, that low-level code would be given to C engine. Now C engine can understand this low-level representation. Then C engine will execute this low-level representation, and the C engine is able to provide some outputs. That C engine is able to provide what there some outputs. Observe carefully. So the point is what? Here we need a translator to translate the program from high-level representation to low-level representation. To perform this translation, we are using a translator or not? Okay, to perform this total translation, I want to say one particular word. That particular word is what? Compilation. That particular thing is what? Compilation. Guys, straightly I'm asking one question to you. What exactly the purpose of compilation? What is this compilation actually? What it is doing? Translating our program from high level representation to low level representation. What is the requirement to do this particular translation? Why we need this translation actually? Our C engine is able to execute our program in a low level representation only. C engine required our program in a low level representation only. It doesn't require program in a high level representation. But developers can write the program in high level only. Developers are unable to understand low level. They can write the program in a high level only. So to translate our program from high level to low level, what we required, we need compilation. Compilation is required to translate our program from high level representation to low level representation. Very simple. Next, one more responsibility. Observe this, all of you guys. Observe this. One more responsibility. Who is writing programs actually? Developers. We are writing the program. How we are writing the program? For example, C program I'm trying to write. If you want to write a C program, first of all I have to understand the rules and regulations of C programming language or not. Every programming language must have a set of rules and regulations. As per the set of rules and regulations only, I must write the program. I have to write the program as per the set of rules and regulations only. Am I right or not? Please respond for my questions now. Okay. While writing this program, maybe I may go for some mistakes. While writing this program, I may violate the C and C programming language rules and regulations. I may violate that. Definitely, I may go for some mistakes in my program. Basically, we are human beings. Human beings are writing the program in the sense, definitely there are some mistakes in that program. So, okay, writing mistakes in our program is not at all the problem. But before going to execute that program, first we have to check whether our program is having any mistakes or not. Really, if our program is having mistake, no, try to rectify it. Then provide a pure program, errorless program to the C engine. Then C engine will execute it. All of you get my point or not? So what I'm asking to you clearly, what I'm telling to you, committing mistakes by the developer is very common. It's not the mistake. It's not any problem with the developer. Developers can do a number of mistakes. Definitely. He may go for a number of mistakes in his program. But before executing that program, we have to check whether our program contains error or not. Whether any mistakes are available or not in our program. If mistakes are available, correct it, then provide errorless program to the C engine. If no error is available, that's well and good. Then send that program to the C engine directly. So there we have to check our errors or not. There we have to check our mistakes or not. Again, to check a developer's mistakes in our program. Again, we have to go for like what now? Compilation. There again we have to go for what there? Compilation. So now I give in conclusion for 2 points. Compilation is required because of 2 points. Tell me guys, compilation is required because how many points? No, now tell me, compilation is able to perform 2 activities. What are the 2 activities it is performing there? Now observe carefully. Now point number 1, translating our program from high level representation to what? Low level representation. That is one thing. And second option is what there? Now second thing is what? No, error checking. Error checking is another responsibility of the compilation or not? Error checking is the compilation responsibility or not? Okay, then these are the 2 reasons why we need to perform compilation. That's it guys. Okay, fine. Listen, I'm going to give one more conclusion. I'm close to the our conclusion. Try to understand it clearly, all of you guys. The time when we perform compilation over our program, the time when we perform compilation over our program, that is called as compilation time. That is called as which time there? No, compilation time. Compilation time is treated as a static. Compilation time is treated as what? No, static. Up to C and C++ I'm talking now. In Java, again, static in the sense meaning will be different. I will talk about it later on. Don't worry. But at present, compilation time is treated as what? No, static. Okay, fine. The time when we execute our program, is treated as execution time. This execution time is also be called as runtime, and this runtime is also be called as what? Dynamic. This runtime is also be called as what? No, dynamic time or dynamic. That's it. Compilation process is nothing but static. Execution is nothing but what? Dynamic. Yes, sir. All of you are getting my point or not? Listen, I am very much close to my conclusion, but ground information I'm talking there. Guys, now all of you respond for me. What are the 2 responsibilities of the compilation? Now tell me, 2 responsibilities are given for compilation. What are the 2 responsibilities? No, translating our program from high level representation to low level representation. Second one is what? Error checking, checking developers mistakes in our program. The other 2 responsibilities. Compilation time is treated as what? No, static. Execution time is treated as what? No, dynamic. Execution time is treated as what? No, dynamic. Yes, all of you are getting clarity up to this point now. Even though you are not from computer science background, even though you are from different background, easily we can understand it. Easily we can understand this explanation. Nothing is difficult here. Okay, fine. Now I need one more point. Try to observe carefully, guys. Forget about this total diagram. It's okay, fine. Static and dynamic, the 2 words we understood clearly. Compilation time is called as static. Execution time is called as what? Dynamic. That's okay, fine. Let me take one more question, guys. Let me ask one more question now. For example, I'm trying to write a intersection like this. Int a is equal to 10. In general, int a is equal to 10. Here, int is a data type. Int is, what is it? No, int is a data type. A is a variable. Equal is an operator. 10 is data, and semicolon is a terminator. Yes, am I right or not? Okay, fine. Now observe carefully. In general, this 10 value has to be stored in a variable. 10 is the data has to be stored in a variable. Am I right or not? But what is going to be happen internally? Maybe for a variable, a block of memory will be created. If it is a C programming language, 2 bytes of memory for integers. If it is a Java programming language, 4 bytes of memory for integer. Depending on programming language, number of bytes will be varied. Okay, assume it. Some bytes of memory will be allocated for a variable where the data is like what? There 10. 10 will be stored. So only 2 bytes of memory for integer, 4 bytes of memory for integer, 10 bytes of memory for integer. That is totally depending on data type. Integer data type, no? On the basis of that only, number of bytes are going to be allocated. So now tell me, guys, all of you now tell me, when I declare a variable, internally memory will be allocated on the basis of the data type or not? For integer 2 bytes of memory, for character 1 byte of memory. Observe carefully. So for some another bytes of memory. So on the base of data types only, memory must be allocated for the variables or not. So memory will be allocated on the basis of the data types only. On the basis of the data types only, memory will be allocated. Please understand my point clearly, what I'm telling you now. Memory will be allocated on the basis of the data types only. Get my point or not? Okay, fine. Now, at what time this memory will be allocated is the question. At what time this memory will be allocated is the question, is the point. For the data, I'm telling that this int, long, float, double, these are primitive data types. These are which data types? No, primitive data types. User defined data types are available, we don't require, no, just primitive data types. Int, float, long, double, these are primitive data types. Observe carefully, all of you know. If the memory will be allocated for the data at a compilation time, if the memory will be allocated for the data at a compilation time, then that memory allocation is called as static memory allocation. If any programming language allows memory allocation for the data at a compilation time, then that memory allocation is called as what? Static memory allocation. If the memory allocation is provided by programming language for the data at a runtime, if the memory allocation is going on for the data at a runtime, then that memory allocation is called as dynamic memory allocation. Everybody understand my statement now? Static memory allocation, dynamic memory allocation. Static memory allocation, then what next one here? Dynamic memory allocation. Points are very much clear, try to understand it. No, if the memory allocation is provided by the programming language for the data at a compilation time, then it is called as what? Static memory allocation. If the memory allocation is provided by the programming languages for the data at a runtime, then that is called as like what? No, dynamic memory allocation. All of you are getting clarity what is static memory allocation and dynamic memory allocation. Now come to the conclusion. Come to the conclusion. If any programming language, if any programming language is following static memory allocation, if any programming language is following static memory allocation, then that programming language is a static programming language. If any programming language is following static memory allocation, then that programming language is a static programming language. If any programming language is following dynamic memory allocation, if any programming language is supporting dynamic memory allocation, then that programming language is a dynamic programming language. Guys, understand clearly. What is static programming language? No. If any programming language is following static memory allocation, then it is called a static programming language. If any programming language is following dynamic memory allocation, then that programming language is what? No, dynamic programming language. Examples for static programming languages are C and C++. Examples for static programming languages are what? C and C++. Examples for dynamic programming languages are what? Java. Examples for dynamic programming languages are what? Java. Observe carefully. So here, what is the conclusion here I'm trying to say, guys? Now tell me what exactly the conclusion here I'm telling to you. What I'm giving the statement here. What is the difference here I'm talking there? Now try to understand it clearly. What is the difference between Java and other programming languages? First difference I have given there. C and C++ are what? Static programming languages, but Java is what? Dynamic programming language. My conclusion is very much clear or not? How can we say now? Tell me, C and C++ are static programming languages and Java is a dynamic programming language. First of all, tell me how C and C++ are static programming languages. Now tell me, C and C++ are following static memory allocation. What is the meaning of the static memory allocation? Memory will be allocated for the primitive data at a compilation time. Then Java is a dynamic programming language. Why? Because Java is following dynamic memory allocation, wherein Java applications memory will be allocated for the data at a runtime, not at compilation time. You may have one question, sir. In Java, memory is not allocated at compilation time. You may have one question there. Right? Answer clearly. Answer is clear. In Java, every memory allocation is going on at runtime only. No memory allocation is going on at the compilation time. In Java, compilation is having some restrictions, means that some rules and regulations. Execution is having a set of rules and regulations. As per Java rules and regulations, no memory will be allocated at compilation time. Only memory will be allocated for the data at a runtime. So because of that reason, Java is what? A dynamic programming language, and C and C++ are what now? A static programming languages. At least now, I need to give one small note about this particular point. No, let me have some point here. C and C++ are static programming languages. Why? Because C and C++ applications, or C and C++ programming languages, C and C++ are following static memory allocation. That is static programming, static memory allocation. That is, in C and C++ applications, memory will be allocated for the primitive data. I'm telling clearly, primitive data. Primitive data. In C and C++, memory will be allocated for the primitive data at a compilation time. Memory will be allocated for the primitive data at a compilation time. Next one is Java is a dynamic programming language. Java is what? A dynamic programming language. Java is a dynamic programming language. Why? Because Java does follow dynamic memory allocation. Dynamic memory allocation. That is, in Java applications. That is, in Java applications, memory will be allocated. Memory will be allocated at a runtime, not at a compilation time. Some information, guys. Just little bit. Whatever the points here I'm thinking, that information here I've given there. So finally, one conclusion here we got there. What is that conclusion here? C and C++ are static programming languages, but Java is what? A dynamic programming language. C and C++ are static programming languages. Why? Because C and C++ are following static memory allocation. That is, in C and C++ applications, memory will be allocated for the primitive data at a compilation time. Similarly, Java is a dynamic programming language. Why? Because Java does follow dynamic memory allocation. That is, in Java applications, memory will be allocated at a runtime. Memory will be allocated for the primitive data at a runtime, not at a compilation time. Clear information. Right? Guys, all of you understand this? Can I move to the next difference now? I think everybody must get clarity. Yeah, come on. So not required to write your complete notes, guys. Just the only required points I will give there. Everything I specified inside the material. So that material might be exist at our office there. You can collect it. It's a chargeable, of course. We can talk about this material and its cost at our office there. But everything I specified inside the material. So you need that material also. It's a Bible for us. In Core Java, nearly 850 plus pages of document I prepared, where the content I provide, everything I included. Whatever the explanations I'm providing inside the classes, everything will be there. So we can collect it. If I discuss any new point inside my class now, which is not there in the material, Then I'll give official dictation part. Then everybody, I'm telling that every day we have to bring pen and paper, pen and notebook. Better to take that pen and notebook. If I find any new point which is not there in the material, definitely I'll give dictation part for that. Okay, fine. Right, gets completed. Then if we, so this is a diagram. Already given the diagram also clearly. Clear, the data is clear. I think you already taken diagram also, right? Right, now not required to open the diagram. Already we have taken the diagram there. Now let's come for the second difference, number two, difference number two. And moreover, I think all of you are getting clarity about primitive data. Am I right? Primitive data types. Am I right? What are the primitive data types in general? Listen carefully. In Java, 8 number of primitive data types are available. Not even 4. 8 number of primitive data types are available. What are the 8 number of primitive data types in Java? Byte, short, int, long, float, double, boolean, character. Come again. Byte, short, int, long, float, double, boolean, character. Remember this. Right. So the second thing is what? Observe careful, all of you guys. Preprocessor is required. Preprocessor is required in a C and C++, but preprocessor is not required in Java. Preprocessor is required in C and C++, but preprocessor is not required in Java. Okay, preprocessor is required in C and C++, but preprocessor is not required in Java. All of you okay, no? So this is the most important topic in entire differences between Java and others. Somewhat internals I need to talk there. So your attention is important. Try to put more concentration on this particular topic. More concentration we need to understand this one. Try to observe carefully. All right, sir. Can I go for it? Preprocessor is required in C and C++, but preprocessor is not required in Java. Can I go for it? Right. Let's observe this point, guys. All of you know. Before understanding preprocessor is required or not required in C, C++, Java, before that, first we have to understand what is preprocessor, what is the job of the preprocessor in programming languages, where preprocessor is existed in programming languages. These things we have to understand. Okay, so my content is what is preprocessor, where preprocessor is existed, what is its job in programming languages. Let's observe this clearly. I'll take one diagram. Everybody understand this now? See here, I've taken a C file. Tell me guys, if I want to say it's a C program, then the extension should be what? .c. Extension should be what? .c. Whenever we have written the C program, there we need to compile the program or not? There we need to compile the program or not? Guys, now tell me, all of you now tell me, what is the requirement to perform compilation? You know already, what is the requirement to perform compilation? No response. Because of two reasons why we are performing compilation. What are the two reasons? No, translating program from high level representation to low level representation. And second one is what? Error checking. For the sake of checking developer's error. Okay, good. All right, so then when we compile the program, whenever we compile the program, here we are able to get a file. One file here we are able to get. What file we are able to get in the case of C programming language? Maybe of course .obj or something else, no? But I required finally what there? .exe. .exe file is required or not? Okay, .obj or .exe, no problem. Anything here we can say .exe file is required. Whenever we are getting this .exe file, there we have to execute the program or not? Whenever we are getting the .exe file, there we have to execute the program. So here we need to execute the program. So this is like what I am telling there, execution. When we execute the program, there we are able to get output. When we execute the program, there we are able to get like what their output. Output here we are able to get. Okay, this is like what their output. This is the total structure. Is it clear, guys? All of you know the points are clear. So C program language I have taken, I compiled it, then we are getting .exe file. Whenever we are getting .exe file, we are trying to execute that, there we are able to get some output. Now here, what I am telling to you, I don't require this total process. Now I require only compilation. How compilation is going on? How many phases are existed inside the compilation? These points I require now. How compilation is required, how compilation is going on, what phases are available inside the compilation, what missions are performing inside the compilation, what missions are working inside the compilation. All these points are required. Listen carefully. To complete this total compilation, here 4 missions are running together. 4 engines, 4 missions are working internally. To perform this compilation, 4 missions are working internally. What are these 4 missions which are working internally? First one is preprocessor. What is this first one, sir? Preprocessor. Next one is a compiler. And next one is like what there? Assembler. Next one is what? Assembler. Then after this assembler, then what next one here? Loader link editor. Overall, these 4 phases are going on inside the compilation. Guys, I'm telling you, I'm asking this question to all of you guys. Now try to answer for my question there. In a compilation overall, how many phases are available? 4 phases. What are the 4 phases there now? Preprocessor, compiler, assembler, loader, link editor. So our required answer is coming here. Where is the preprocessor in programming languages? Preprocessor is a part of the compilation or not? Pre-processing is the first phase of the compilation or not? Remember this point here. Next one is, anyway, discussion is available here. Discussion is coming about the internal structure of the compilation. So I want to elaborate this compiler also. I want to elaborate what? Compiler also I want to elaborate. What is this compiler actually? What is going on inside the compiler? I want to elaborate this. Observe carefully. Inside the compiler, again, 6 phases are available. Inside the compiler, again, 6 phases are available. What are the 6 phases inside the compiler? First one is lexical analysis phase. Next one is syntax analysis phase. Next one is semantic analysis phase. Next one is intermediate code generation. Then after that, code optimization. At last, code generation. Guys, everybody understand this. Overall, these many phases are available inside the compiler. I'm not talking about compilation. Compilation includes 4 steps, but compiler is including nearly 6 number of phases internally. 6 number of phases are existed inside the compiler. These 6 number of phases will be performed their activities one after another. Okay. Right, sir. This is the total structure of the compilation. Compilation in the sense 4 steps are existed: preprocessor, compiler, assembler, loader, link editor. Along with that, what we are having there: lexical analysis, syntax analysis, semantic analysis, intermediate code generation, code optimization, and code generation. Okay. Complete it. Better. Then whenever I'm preparing the diagram, better to take the diagram here. Remaining, I will give that explanation. Easily you can understand. But the diagram practice is also very required. Diagrams and the data, whatever the data I'm telling there, better do write some notes. Better. You may remember that content for a long time. Right, guys? Is it clear? So C program compilation. In compilation, 4 phases: preprocessor, compiler, assembler, loader, link editor. Now, in a compiler, how many phases are available again? 6 phases are available. What are the 6 phases inside the compiler? Lexical analysis, syntax analysis, semantic analysis, intermediate code generation, code optimization, and finally, code generation. Okay. Ah. Now, where is preprocessor? We understood. Preprocessor is the first phase in a compilation that we understood. Now, coming to the point, what is the role of the preprocessor? What exactly the work of the preprocessor in programming languages? That point here we have to understand. Now, let's observe carefully. Understand this clearly. This point here. Don't take any notes. Now, first of all, put concentration here. I'll dictate the notes. Don't worry. Try to put more concentration here. All of you guys. In C and C++, in C and C++, the total predefined library is existed in the form of header files. Am I right or not? The complete predefined library is existed in the form of which files? No, header files. Tell me examples for header files in general. Any example you know? Yesterday.h, conio.h, math.h, and so on. Some examples are existed. So what I'm telling now, in C and C++, the complete predefined library. Every programming language has its own library. That is called as predefined library. In C and C++, the total predefined library is existed in the form of header files. What are these header files actually? Some examples are given: yesterday.h, conio.h, and math.h. They are the various header files. Okay, good. Predefined library contains these header files. That predefined library is available in a C software. Okay. Now, my requirement is, I'm writing a C program now. I'm writing a C program. Inside my C program, I need to use some predefined library. Inside my C program, I need to use what? Some predefined library. To use a predefined library inside the C program, to use a predefined library inside the C program, we have to include these header files to the C program. If you want to use predefined library in our C program, we have to use these header files in our C program. To use this header file content in our C program, first we have to include these header files to the C program. First we have to include these header files to the C program. How we are able to include these header files to the C program? Actually, to include these header files to the C program, where we have to use a separate intersection. What is that intersection actually? Hash include statement we have to use. By using a hash include statements only, we are able to include all the header files. Hash include yesterday.h, hash include conio.h, then what next one here? Hash include math.h, hash include math.h. Okay, good. All of you observe carefully. I prepared a C program with all the hash include statements. I prepared a C program with all the hash include statements. That's okay, good. Completed. Then I'm trying to compile my program. I prepared a C program with all hash include statements. Now I'm trying to compile my program. When we give this program to the compilation, then who is the first one to perform its operations? No. Inside the compilation, who is the first one to perform its operation? No. Preprocessor. Preprocessor will take our C program or not? Now what preprocessor will do? Preprocessor will perform its activity over the C program. What preprocessor will perform the activity? That is my question. Now observe carefully. Preprocessor will read our C program. Inside the C program, preprocessor will recognize all hash include statements. Preprocessor will recognize all hash include statements, where preprocessor will take the provided header files names. Along with the hash include statements, we provided a header files names. Preprocessor will recognize all hash include statements. Preprocessor will take all the provided header files names. stdio.h, conio.h, and math.h. Preprocessor will take these names. Then preprocessor will go inside the C software. Already you installed C software in our computer. Preprocessor will go inside the C software, where it will go to the predefined library. There, preprocessor will check these header files are existed inside the C software or not. Where preprocessor will check whether the specified header files are existed inside the C software or not. If these header files are not existed inside the C software, if the provided header files are not existed inside the C software, there preprocessor has to give some error message. You specified these many header files names in our program, but I'm trying to get them, but I didn't identify them inside my C software. So what I have to do? It's a helpless situation. Then preprocessor will give an error message. For example, these header files are existed inside the C software. These header files are existed inside the C software, for example, existed. Then what preprocessor will do? Preprocessor will take these header files. Preprocessor will load all the specified header files content to the memory. Preprocessor will load all the specified header files content to the memory. Now tell me, at what time preprocessor is loading predefined library to the memory? At a compilation time or at runtime? Come on guys, you have to answer for my question. Preprocessor is a part of the compilation or not? So preprocessor is loading predefined library to the memory at a compilation time or not? Come on guys. Preprocessor is loading our predefined library, that is header files content to the memory at a compilation time or not? So this type of loading is called as static loading. This type of loading is called as what? Static loading. That's not more than that. So preprocessor is following static loading or not? Preprocessor is performing static loading or not? Okay, now coming to the conclusion. In C and C++, preprocessor is required. In C and C++, preprocessor is required. Why preprocessor is required in C and C++? No, to recognize the hash include statements in order to load header files content to the memory. Preprocessor is required in C and C++. Why preprocessor is required in C and C++? No, conclusion is very clear. To recognize the hash include statements in order to load the specified header files content to the memory, we need preprocessor in C and C++. Got my point clearly? All of you now tell me what exactly the points I discussed up to now about this preprocessor. Just 1 minute, rewind that content here, then I will go for later on why preprocessor is not required in Java. I'll give that information there. Initially, what exactly the point here I discussed with you clearly. First of all, I given the information where is the location of the preprocessor, at which location preprocessor existed. First of all, I've taken C program, I compiled it, then we are getting .exe file, I executed, then we are getting output. In a compilation, 4 phases are available. First one is what? Preprocessor. Next one is what? Compiler. Next one is assembler. Next one is loader, link editor. If you observe this compiler, again 6 phases are available. What are the 6 phases inside the compiler? Lexical analysis, syntax analysis, semantic analysis, intermediate code generation, code optimization, then code generation. These many things are existent. That's okay, fine. Now my required point is what? Where is the location of the preprocessor? Preprocessor is existed inside the compilation. That I got conclusion from this diagram. Then I discussed about what is the role of the preprocessor in C and C++. The role of the preprocessor in C and C++ are given some points there. What are the points are given there? In C and C++, the complete predefined library is existed in the form of header files. What are the examples for these header files? No, stdio.h, conio.h, and math.h. Observe carefully. If we want to use these header files in our C program, we have to include these header files to our C program. To include these header files to our C program, which statements here we have to use there? Hash include stdio.h, hash include conio.h, and hash include math.h. Okay, fine. If we prepare a program, C program with these many hash include statements, where what preprocessor will do, when we compile the program, preprocessor will be activated, preprocessor will take our C program, preprocessor will recognize all the hash include statements, preprocessor will take all the names of the specified header files, preprocessor will go inside the C software, where preprocessor will check whether these specified header files are existed or not existed. If these header files are existed inside the C not existed inside the C software, if these header files are not existed inside the C software, then preprocessor will give an error message. If these header files are existed inside the C software, where preprocessor will load all the specified header files content to the memory. Loading predefined library to the memory at compilation time is called as a static loading, where preprocessor is performing static loading of the predefined library in C and C++. This is the job of the preprocessor. Now come to the conclusion. Why preprocessor is required in C and C++? Answer is very clear. To recognize the hash include statements, in order to load header files content to the memory, we need preprocessor in the case of C and C++. Yes, guys, all of you are getting clarity up to these points? No response. Can I move forward? Why preprocessor is not required in Java? Can I move forward? Right. Now, let's understand this clearly. All of you know. Observe carefully. Now, in Java, the complete predefined library is provided in the form of packages. Of course, in the form of classes and interfaces inside the packages. The complete predefined library is provided in the form of classes and interfaces in packages. So mainly packages. Remember this point, mainly what? Packages. Okay. Tell me any example for packages? No. In Java, number of examples are available. Any example for package? No. Java.io package, Java.util package, and Java. Like what there, SQL package, and so on. So many packages are existed. Number of packages are existed in Java. Java.io, Java.util, Java.sql. So many packages are existed. Some of the examples are given. Okay, good. Now, tell me guys, observe carefully. In C and C++, to include header files into the C program, there we have used hash include statements. There we have used what? Hash include statements. Am I right or not? But in the case of Java, to use predefined library in a Java program, there we have to import packages to the Java program. There what we have to do? We have to import packages to the Java program. To import packages to the Java program, what we have to do? We have to write import statement. Import java.io.star. Import java.util.star. The next one is import java.sql.star. Here star is what? Package is a collection of classes and interfaces. Here star is representing all classes and interfaces of the specified package. Java.io has hundreds of classes and hundreds of interfaces are available. but I want to get all of them into my program. I want to use all of them in my program from java.io. That's why I'm using import java.io.star. Okay, import java.util.star. Here also star is meaning. Star meaning is what? All from the specified package, all classes and interfaces from the specified package. Now here also be import java.sql.star. What's the meaning of this star now? Import all class and interfaces from java.sql. Okay. So if you want to use predefined library inside the Java program, there we have to import the packages. To import the packages, which statement here we have used there? Import java.io.star. Import java.util.star. Import java.sql.star. These many things here we have to provide. Okay, good. That's nice. Okay, fine. But what is going on internally? I prepared a Java program. Inside my Java program, I have written all import statements. I've written a Java program. Inside my Java program, I've written all these import statements. Nice. I'm trying to compile the program. I'm trying to compile the program. When we compile the program, listen carefully. Compiler will recognize all the import statements. In Java, preprocessor is not available. In place of that preprocessor, compiler will recognize import statements. Compiler will take all the package names. Compiler will go inside Java software. Compiler will search for these packages inside the Java software. If these packages are not existed, inside the Java software, compiler will raise an error. Package java.io does not exist. Package java.util does not exist. Package java.sql does not exist, where compiler will give this error message if they are not existed inside the Java software. For example, if these packages are existed inside the Java software, in the case of C and C++, what happened there? If the header files are existed in the C software, preprocessor loaded all the header files content to the memory at compilation time or not? Where static loading is going on or not? Similarly, in case of Java, when a compiler identifies these packages inside the Java software, compiler will not raise any error. At the same time, compiler will not load any package content to the memory. In C and C++, preprocessor loaded header files content to the memory at compilation time. But in the case of Java, compiler will not load any header file, any package content to the memory. Loading predefined library to the memory is not the responsibility of the compiler. Compiler responsibility is what? Just a checking the specified packages are existed or not existed in Java software. If they're existed, no error. If they're not existed, definitely error will be generated. So loading predefined library to the memory is not the responsibility of the compiler. Is not the responsibility of compiler. Compiler is not responsible for loading any library to the memory. Compiler is responsible for checking whether these packages are existed inside the Java software or not. If they're not available, error will be raised. If they're existed, no error will be raised. At the same time, no loading is going to be happened by the compiler. Okay, good. If compiler is not loading any library to the memory, any package to the memory, then who will load the packages to the memory? Who will load the predefined library to the memory? If we come for this point, observe carefully. In Java, at a compilation time, no library will be loaded, damn sure. But when we execute the program as per the requirement, JVM will load the required predefined library to the memory. JVM, Java Virtual Machine, is a Java engine to execute our program. While executing program, up to how many classes are required by JVM, JVM can load up to the required number of classes information to the memory. So predefined library is loaded by JVM as per the requirement. not blindly all to the memory. Import java.io.star. 100 classes are available in java.io package. Even though they're available, but JVM will not load all 100 classes to the memory. How many classes are really used in our Java program? That classes are only be loaded to the memory by JVM. So unnecessary loading is avoided or not? How many classes are required for JVM? Up to that many classes are only be loaded to the memory. Unnecessarily, other classes are not going to be loaded in the case of Java. Up to how much it is required? Up to that only JVM will load the predefined library. Unnecessary to not load entire thing at a time. Now tell me, in the case of Java, at what time predefined library is loaded to the memory? At a compilation time or at a runtime? Come on, in Java, at what time predefined library will be loaded to the memory? At a compilation time or at runtime? Now JVM is loading predefined library to the memory in the sense, is that in a compilation time or runtime? Runtime. JVM is related to runtime. At compilation time, no library will be loaded, but JVM is related to runtime. So runtime, at runtime, JVM will load the predefined library. Now tell me guys, all of you now tell me, JVM is loading predefined library to the memory in the sense, it's a dynamic loading or not? At runtime, we are loading that library in the sense dynamic loading or not? So Java does follows dynamic loading or not? JVM is supporting dynamic loading or not? Import statements are supporting dynamic loading or not? In case of C and C++, static loading is going on. In the case of Java, dynamic loading is going on or not? Observe carefully. Static memory allocations and static loading, both are done by C and C++. Dynamic loading and dynamic memory allocation, both are existed in Java. Now come to the conclusion. Coming to the conclusion, why preprocessor is not required in Java? Why preprocessor is not required in Java? Come for this conclusion. Why it is not required in Java? Only the point is, in Java, preprocessor is not required. Why? Because in Java, hash include statements are not existed. Why hash include statements are not existed in Java? Why? Because in Java, header files are not existed. Why header files are not existed in Java? In Java, predefined libraries existed in the form of classes and interfaces in the packages. In Java, predefined libraries existed in the form of classes and interfaces inside the packages, not in the form of header files. When header files are not available in Java, hash include statements are not required. When hash include statements are not available in Java, preprocessor is not required. So Java doesn't require what? Preprocessor. In place of preprocessor, Java had already compiler and JVM in order to recognize import statements, in order to load the required package content to the memory. Compiler and JVM is existed. Compiler and JVM both are doing the same work. What preprocessor is doing the work in the case of C and C++. So because of this reason, Java doesn't require preprocessor, whereas C and C++ required what? Preprocessor. Guys, all of you are getting my points clearly? Concepts are very much clear. In a clean mode, I'm explaining these points now. Just the remaining thing is we have to capture the point. Don't worry, this class video might be recording. This video will be provided to you to the Google Drive. Those who register for this course, even for other members also, these videos are going to be uploaded in YouTube. In the next 1 or 2 days of videos will be uploaded in YouTube. So what I'm telling there, after completion of this class, within 1 hour, this video will be available for you in the YouTube and as well as in a Google Drive. Those who register for the course through Google Drive, you are able to get that video. Watch this video clearly, try to practice one time and come for the tomorrow's class. There we are able to understand everything. So tomorrow I'll give a little bit dictation part along with the dictation part, and tomorrow I'll move forward to the next content. What is that next content here like this? Here we have one important interview question actually. What are the differences between hash include statement and import statement that I need to talk? After completion of that important interview question, then I'll go to the next content. Tomorrow the topic is very, very important. Like C and C++ are platform dependent, but Java is a platform independent. Why? What happened internally? How can you say C and C++ are platform dependent and how Java is a platform independent? That everything we have to understand clearly. So don't miss the tomorrow's class. Tomorrow's class is also be very, very important for us. Don't miss the tomorrow's class. Attend for the tomorrow's session exactly. Right? That's all, guys. That's all for today. Then tomorrow we'll see the remaining content. Thank you. Tomorrow exactly at what time we have to come here? 7 o'clock. As is 7 o'clock, we have to come there, right? Thank you. Thanks a lot. And one more thing. What about our schedule? Actually, the 7 to 8:30 classes are going on up to 1 week of time, 1 week to 10 days only. After that, I will continue these classes at what time? 8:30, 8:30 to 10. Please remember this statement now. Up to next to 10 days of time, these classes are going on. Next after that, I will go for it 8:30 to 10. Please remember this. Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot. Yeah, George Stephen. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. George Stephen, and then just one time contact with Bhavani in either of these numbers. Then she will give clarity on it. She will provide that course content and videos and everything for you. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Core Java is damn sure required for advanced Java. Without Core Java, not possible to understand advanced Java. Okay. Sure. Yeah, definitely. Jayant, I will share these running notes and passage diagrams, but it may take 1 or 2 days of time. Then there I will share it. Yeah, everyday recordings will be provided. Chauhan, everyday recordings will be provided. Sure. Okay. Everyday recordings will be provided. Even if you miss any session, you will get the recordings. Guys, and fee related things, just we can reach out our office there. Office people will give more clarity on it. Say for example, java.io is a package name which includes multiple classes and multiple interfaces. So here star indicates I want to get all of them into my program. I want to use all of them. Okay, to represent all from java.io, we are using star. Star is representing all from java.io. That's it, not more than that. But if I specify only a particular class name in place of star, only that class will come to our Java file. If we keep star, all will come to our Java file. We can use them. Okay, fine. Hmm. 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 గార్బేజ్ వాల్యూ అది సమ్వాట్ ప్రింట్ అయింది అక్కడ కూడా ఇంట్ ఐ అనేది డిక్లేర్ చేస్తున్నారు కదా వాల్యూస్ అని చెప్పి అప్పుడేమైంది అప్పుడేమైతే అదే చేయొద్దు మెమరీ అలకేట్ అయింది కదా దానిలో గార్బేజ్ వాల్యూ దానిలో ఏ వాల్యూ పడిపోద్ది డిఫాల్ట్ వాల్యూస్ సంథింగ్ ఉంటాయి కదా అక్కడ పాయింట్ ఏంటంటే మీరు ఎప్పుడైతే ఒక వేరియబుల్ డిక్లేర్ చేస్తున్నారో వాల్యూ ఇచ్చినా ఇవ్వకపోయినా మెమరీ అయితే అలకేట్ అయింది డైనమిక్ అయిన తర్వాత నాకు అలొకేషన్ ఎప్పుడైంది కంపైలేషన్ టైంలో అయింది ద 2 bytes ఆఫ్ మెమరీ 3 bytes ఆఫ్ మెమరీ సంథింగ్ ఎల్స్ అదంతా కూడా కంపైలేషన్ టైంలో అయింది ఓకే వాల్యూ మీరు తర్వాత ఎప్పుడండి అక్కడ కంపైలేషన్ మెమరీ అలకేట్ దానిలో సమ్ వాల్యూ పడిపోతుంది గార్బేజ్ వాల్యూ డిఫాల్ట్ వాల్యూ తర్వాత మీరు ఒరిజినల్కి ఎప్పుడైతే వాల్యూ అసైన్ చేస్తారో ఆ గార్బేజ్ వాల్యూ వెళ్ళిపోయి ఒరిజినల్ వాల్యూ స్టోర్ అవుతుంది దానిలో అది మెమరీ అయితే ఆల్రెడీ అలకేట్ అయిపోయింది కదా కంపైలేషన్ టైం కాదు రన్ టైమే అయినా సరే ఏమేమి సర్టిఫికేట్స్ అంటే ఓసీజేపీ ఎస్జేపీ లేదు ఇప్పుడు ఓసీజేపీ ప్రిపేర్ అయితే బెటర్ అల్టిమేట్ ఒక్కసారి అది ఇప్పుడు మారిపోయానండి అది అరాగ్యుల చేతిలో ఉంది కదా ఇప్పుడు అది అది నియర్లీ 10 ఎంత 9 to 10,000 ఉంటుంది నాకు తెలుసు మేబీ అదర్ సన్ వాళ్ళు మెయింటైన్ చేసినది తక్కువ ఉండే ఇప్పుడు ఎక్కువ ఉంటుంది అది ఒకసారి కనుక్కోండి ప్రొమాటిక్ సెంటర్స్ ఉంటాయి బయట ఒకసారి అక్కడికి వెళ్తే కానీ క్లారిటీ రాదు ఎందుకంటే అలా టోకెన్ ఇస్తారు లేదండి మనం సర్టిఫికేట్ చాలా క్రితం ఉండేది కానీ ఇప్పుడు లేదు అప్పుడేదో పెట్టారు అది అప్పుడు కూడా సర్టిఫికేషన్ ఆల్వేస్ బెటర్ కదా ఎప్పుడైనా మీకు జావా రిలేటెడ్ ఓసీజేపీ అంతే memory allocation is going in at compilation time starting memory allocation is going in at runtime dynamic memory allocation నేను చెప్తాను మీకు లేదు 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 నేను చెప్తా క్లాస్లో మీకు అఫీషియల్ టాపిక్ ఉంది మొత్తం అవన్నీ చెప్తాను నేను మెటీరియల్ మీరు తీసుకోవచ్చు ఆఫీస్లో ఉంటుంది ఉంటుంది ఎనీ టైం ఉంటుంది ఆఫీస్లో ఇక్కడే ఉన్నట్టుంది ఉన్నాయా చూడండి ఒకసారి చూడండి గైజ్ అండ్ not in a week or 10 days of time Vishwanath It may take 1 month of time. After 1 month of time, I will start advanced Java. Don't worry. See, sir, Java is dynamic. Why C and C++ are exist now? Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. C and C++ are reducing their demand because of their static. Soma. Okay. Sir, import statements will load all class at runtime or only the required class. Only required classes, Jayant. Even the star indicates they are available to us, but they are not loaded to the memory. But really, if you use any class there, that class will be loaded. After Core Java, can I going to the job company? No, no, no. Core Java is not sufficient to get job. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Jayant and star imports in the sense that it able to available for us to use, but it is not loading because of the star. When we use really a class inside the Java program, then it will be loaded. Can I go with the 6 years of experience with all complete Java training? I'm ready, already working on product based company, but I'm interested in working on Java coding, so I would like to switch. Yes, definitely. Shalini, just you can give up to 5 years of experience with my knowledge, with our content. Yeah, thank you. Okay, guys, that's all, guys. Then I have another session there. Maybe and tomorrow I'll clarify your doubts. And thank you, guys. Thanks a lot. Till meet on tomorrow. If you have any field related things or administration kind of things, reach out to our office with Bhavani. Okay, Bhavani is the responsible person for it. Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot. And guys, and you can send the messages meanwhile while going on when class is going on. We can send SMS messages to me. Then continuously I will watch that message and I'll give reply. Okay, don't worry. Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot.